beauty of why we are here and why we are doing what we are doing today. So, ladies and gentlemen, I'm handing over to Barrister Evans Ufeli to continue and to start his session on. Over to you, Barrister Barry. Over to you.
Yes. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. For people in other locations of the world, good evening, good morning, according to your location. Tayo, you have just charged us into a realm of possibility, a realm of creative dynamics, and what the psychology and behavioral scientists call the principles of complex adaptive. You just showed us a picture of a white man selling plantain. You showed us a picture of a thatch house with an AC, and then a picture of a religious or a clergyman casting out demon from a goat. Now, these are relatively connected to the principles of complex adaptive. Today, we are looking at what we call the evolution of culture, borderlessness, and complex adaptive. You see, these three principles are the hallmark of human existence in this day and age. To start with, let me first of all say that before now, we have been told in economics that the factors of production are land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. And if you look at it, land, labor, capital, entrepreneur happens to be the fulcrum of the generation of wealth before now on the earth. In those textbooks, you still have those principles stated. But today, I want to take the listener beyond the scope of that arrangement. And I want to draw them to the evolution of culture. I want to take them through boundlessness. And I want to take them at the will be what the principles of complex adaptive. Well, let's start this by saying that apart from land, labor, capital, entrepreneur, there's a new set of skills, items, and devices that have also come to add up to the factors of production, one of which is technology. Technology today is among the factors of production. If I ask you, Tayo, when was the last time we met one-on-one? I think that will be last year, sometimes last year in June or July. But between that time and now, we have had a lot of conferences, okay, through Zoom, through technology. So it tells you that technology is a driving force and is a premise upon which every kind of production is enhanced today. Before COVID-19, a lot of companies use technology as a support system, use technology as a backdoor in operations, okay? During COVID-19 and post-COVID-19, these organizations are now using technology as the mainstay, as the front door, as the open area for operations. And that is because there is a new culture that has evolved. What is culture? Culture simply means the way of life of people. The way people live, the way of life of a people is what we call culture. So when we're talking about the evolution of culture, we must understand that a new culture has emerged in our society, and therefore strategy and operation must change. We must leverage on the prevalence and then the devices of the moment to clinch on development and creativity. Our culture has so developed in such a way that if you look at the way things are done now, it's quite different from the way it's been done in the past, okay? Right now, the schools are shut down. The only schools that are functional are the ones that have created a niche for borderlessness, a process of reaching out to people through a borderless platform. And that is why they will remain relevant, they will keep making money, they will keep being productive as long as they remain on that platform. And those schools that have no online presence, that have no online space, that have not opened their capacity to clinch on online spaces, we keep having that challenge until they're able to walk up to the position that the world has gotten into. It's important that we know that this day and age, we are in an era of, fast dynamics. This is the era of speed. This is the era where the Generation Z and the millennials, those that are between the ages of 35 to 0, okay, have taken over the space in terms of speed and productivity. And they come with a lot of creative rebellion. And this creative rebellion is where the world is heading to. So it is a call on all of us to understand that culture has changed. A new culture has evolved. And then it is now time for us to leverage on these principles to have the best of life. We're talking about the evolution of culture. Then I talk about borderlessness. I talk about borderlessness, which I have actually explained before. Before now, Tayo, you need a visa to attend a conference in America. Okay. You need a visa to attend a conference in the UAE. You need visa to go around the world. But today, things have changed. Things have changed. So it tells you that borderlessness have truncated the position and the structure of the world. Okay? Now, democracy is no longer governing the world. Democracy is no longer governing the world. Before now, it was democracy, law and due process, okay? Where if I want to go to another nationality, I need to go through some processes, some interviews, and then before I arrive at the country in person, and then to engage in the activity. But today, it is no longer so. From my study here, I've attended between March and now, I've attended over 100 plus seminars, okay, on daily basis. I have facilitated from here, in the US, in the UK, and all over the world from my study, okay? So it tells you that a time is going to come when you will no longer need visa to interact with the people in the first world nation and all over the world, okay? So what it therefore means is that borderlessness and globalization has crystallized, okay? And because borderlessness and globalization has crystallized, it has brought a new reality and a new experience, okay? So what you begin to ask yourself as you watch me is, how can I make a business? How can I contribute to what technology is doing in the world? So it is the democracy is gradually going to be phased out, and it will be replaced with what we call technocracy. Technocracy is where technology is being used, to define concept, to define even the political space. A time is going to come in Nigeria, you are not going to have INEC any longer. You are going to have a technology company that will determine how election is conducted. The politicians will be interfacing with technology and not human beings. And when that time comes, there will be no rigging whatsoever, because technocracy is taking all over the world. And then people are going to do businesses through technology. Because borderlessness has come to stay, because globalization has come to stay. Now in the US, if you look at it, just like we talked about the principles of production, the factors of production, land, labor, capital, entrepreneur. In the world, in terms of security, we have the Army, the Navy, and the Air Force. And then you have the police, okay? For the purposes of police, for the purposes of managing internal disputes, okay? Making sure that law and order is protected within a country. The Army for external aggression. the Air Force for air operation and air security, okay, the Navy for marine policing and marine management and marine security, okay, to secure territorial integrity and territorial space all over the world. Today, America has launched what we call the airspace, okay? Now there is what they call the Space Force, launch in the airspace, Space Force. We now have a semblance of an army that is managing space, because the world is gradually going the space way. We are already in the introduction to the astronomical age, okay? And the astronomical age will mean that a lot of persons are going to go to other planets and do businesses in other planets and build houses in other planets. So the laws that will regulate human conduct in these different planets are already being set in motion. The people are already going to Mars, okay? They have discovered water in Mars. And anywhere you discover water, it means that you can have life there. So people are already taking occupancy. People are passing laws in different countries that will regulate those planets, okay? When man gets to those places to subdue them, to have dominion over those spaces, okay? It is only those who are prepared, those who have studied, those who have researched on how they can make business, how they can create opportunities through these areas that will succeed or that will make a headway. It is important for us to understand that the world is no longer where it used to be. The world just restarted. You know how you rebuild a computer? You rebuild a computer, you build a computer, you restart it, and then it comes on afresh. It gives you, fresh outlook and then fresh functions, and then you can move on to operate it to actually achieve that which you want to achieve. That is the age where we are in the world today. So, as you are watching me, if you are a student, begin to think. If you are in business, begin to think global. There is no longer tribalism, nepotism, and all that is now phased out. It's completely useless. The reason tribalism and nepotism is useless is because the world has so advanced that tribal settlements and tribal enclavism and the nepotic tendencies have been completely phased out by the continuous advancement of technology in the world today. So if you are a student, you are a worker, you are whatever you do, begin to think complex adaptive. Begin to think deeply that great things of the world lurks around small things. That is why, you see, Tayo, even before you post all the pictures you posted there, so many years ago, okay, King Solomon, was addressing the issue of complex adaptive, and he was speaking to a particular audience, and he told them that thou sluggard, that is the lazy one, go to the ant, learn their ways, and be wise, okay? Because the ant is so small. The ant is so small, but it has capacity for strategy. It has capacity for great strategy and armed forces, okay? And in business, in storage, in banking, in whatever you can think about. So he was referring his listeners then, or his readers then, to the ant. As far back as that time, the principle of complex adaptive was initiated, that it is not only linear thinking that will give you the direction to production and productiveness, that non-linear thinking, which is a cap of complex adaptive, is what is required for you to, creatively find your way out of the stuff. The Nigerian economy, for example, is one that requires creative thinking. It's one that requires complex adaptive, because linear thought and linear approach to business, to politics, to whatever you do here is no longer working. Okay? So now you need creative strategy. And creative strategy will mean that you have to go down deep into yourself. Go down deep into your thoughts. Go down deep into your subconscious. Rent a space in your subconscious. Okay, from there you begin to devise strategy for which you will look at the world, look at the problem of the world, look at what the world is going through in its formation and its technological advancement and its globalization and how it's coming and unifying into one entity. How borderlessness have become the approach, okay? How the internet has opened up and deregulated the space such that you can be in one location in your village and in your community and make videos that will go viral all over the world, okay? So the same way you can sit down somewhere in your corner, devise a principle, okay? Put on your thinking cap, develop capacity, okay? Test it, retest it, train yourself and retrain yourself. By the time you are doing that, you're already adapting to the global trend. You're already giving yourself out there with the capacity to subdue, to dominate, to globalize, and then to, you know, present your product and services to the world. That is where the world is today. You must understand where the world is today to be able to have relevance and capacity, okay, to clinch on its opportunities. It is very important that we understand this. So we need to ask ourselves certain questions about what exactly do we want out of the current state of the world today? What exactly do we want out of the current state of the world today? If you study the world carefully, you'll find out that it is no longer restrictive. There's no longer restriction, okay? So like I was speaking the other time, I say if you have product or services, you have different kind of product and you have different kind of services you offer. Begin to think global about these products. Begin to think global about these products. You see, because even God that gave us this capacity to, you know, to affect humanity, to subdue the earth, and to do things possibly, have set out certain products. Just imagine how God designed the earth as a real estate facility that is housing over how many billion people, okay? And then he has been able to create the vegetations, the forests, the sea, the sand, the land, the sun, the moon, okay? And then the climates, the weather condition, okay? Such that each and every product is offering services to the world in a global scale, okay? So if you have a product, okay, and you want the product to get to Australia, for example, you want the product to get to the heart and the end part of Africa, or the end part of North America, or the end part of the United States, what do you do? How do you project it? You know what you are supposed to do? Leverage on the principles of complex adaptive. You understand? What is complex adaptive? Complex adaptive is a principle that says that great things lock around simple things. If you take the sun, for example, the sun is a simple, we've known the sun for as long as we have lived. So even though the sun is a complex technology, okay, it's a simple thing because we see the sun every day. Now, because we see the sun every day, it is simple. It's a simple thing, but great things lock around it. Okay, great things lock around it. And the principle of complex adaptive will mean that you study the sun, for example, you study the moon, you study the air, you see their workings, these products, you see their workings, they are all global. Okay? The reason Japan is respected so well today is because when you look at great brands, okay, you look at Toyota, you look at Mitsubishi, you look at Panasonic, Sony, Philips, and the whole lot of them. Okay? They are great brands, electronic brands and mechanical brands that bring a lot to headquarters in Tokyo. Okay? If you look at Germany, you're talking about Mercedes-Benz. You are talking about great brands. You look at the United States, you are talking about great brands. You are talking about Microsoft, you are talking about Apple, you are talking about great brands, okay? And these countries are respected all over the world. And then it is not the government that created these products. It is individuals like you and I that created these global brands, okay? You know what those people did? They studied complex adaptive. They look at the ants, for example. They look at the sun. They look at all the natural things, all the creations of God. And then they study how that they are so relevant everywhere they are. So this will give you a clue, okay, that if climate that is a product of God is global, if the sand is global, if water is global, if light is global, air is global, moon is global, sun is global, you must decide, okay, to decipher a brand that will go global, okay? And when that happens to you, it becomes transgenerational, because then you will have been able to take care of your entire generations and many generations to come. Look at Arthur Guinness, for example. Now, the owner of Coca-Cola, I mean, I'm talking about world brands now, okay? These are individuals, not governments, okay? And these brands have become as relevant as the sun, as relevant as light, as relevant as rain, as relevant as water. In fact, there was a time that Coca-Cola was competing with water. Their project that time was to replace water. So they came with this aggressive branding and advertisement and all that. So they have been able to compete and subdue every other beverages and began to compete with water. That is complex adaptive. Okay? Studying natural phenomena and developing and devising products and services that will deliver satisfactorily like natural phenomena. Okay? So that is why we say evolution of culture, borderlessness, and complex adaptive. You see that these three devices, they are intellectual philosophy. They are interwoven to deliver on the processes and principles of production. Okay? So production is no longer limited to land, labor, capital, and entrepreneur. There are people who have land. Instead of them to put the land together, put it in shape, and start a business there, they sell it off to someone that have capital. Now, that person that have capital will take that land, put it somewhere. He now have land and capital. He goes for a training to train himself on entrepreneurship. He becomes what? He now have land, capital, and the entrepreneurship capacity. Okay? Then the next thing he does is to employ labor. And he becomes wealthy in that community, in that locality. Okay? He becomes excessively wealthy that everybody begins to envy him. Okay? Or her. So part of what we must do and part of what we must know is that the world had advanced beyond basic economic principle. That technology, that today, technology, okay, borderlessness, complex adaptive, and, you know, the evolution of a new culture has emerged. And that new culture is the culture of knowledge. Hello?
I can hear you. You can proceed.
And that new, okay, and that new culture is the culture of knowledge. Okay? It's a culture that is not based on linear thinking. It's a culture that is based on complex adaptive. It's a culture that is based on two major principles, having stated every other thing. And that is that for you to have capacity to really operate in this new culture, okay, this new wave of relevance, you must develop certain capacity. You must develop certain capacity. One of the capacity you must develop is the ability to photograph your options. Is the ability to photograph your options and then develop what we call the curriculum of power. Okay? Nigeria, for example, is like a murky water. Okay? It's like a murky water. The government have not been able to find the best approach to take its citizens out of poverty. So it is the poverty capital of the world. It still remains so, okay? Now, I'm not sure enough is being done to take as many citizens as possible out of poverty. But I am sure that what citizens can do is to creatively, through complex adaptive, look for a way to take themselves off poverty. Okay? So if you can photograph your option, what do I mean by photographing your option? Is that you must go into yourself. Okay? You must go into yourself, because as hard as this economy is, as hard as Nigeria is, there are a lot of people who are making billions of naira. Okay? People are still building houses. People are still going abroad to school. People are still developing projects. People are still doing high-scale transactions. Okay? So you need to sit down and photograph your options. How do you photograph your options? Look at the society. Look at exactly what the society needs that also has global relevance. Not just what your community alone will purchase. There is not too much that your environment, your immediate environment can offer you if you are not thinking global along the scale, okay? So you must understand that the most powerful people in this economy, people with economic power in this economy, are people who have developed capacity and intelligence in a lot of areas, okay? Areas that hitherto people have not really taken care of, okay? Agriculture, for example, is yielding, okay? It's yielding, it has global relevance, okay? Agro businesses have global relevance, okay? IT, okay? Global relevance, and the host of others. So you don't just sit there with your linear philosophy. Linear thought has already put you on the scale of average. It says go to school, you went to school, okay? And you go to school and you were offered a certificate, okay? You got the certificate, you have the certificate, you have been able to apply for a job, you got the job, you are still average, okay? You're able to build a house. So these are linear structure. These are structure we already understand that rising and subduing your environment will mean go to school, go and serve, get a job, work, earn money, live a good life, train. But that is linear. That can only give you, that can only afford you what we call average. But if you must go beyond average, you must develop your own structural economic ideology within the political ideology, okay, that you have in this country. And that is why I say that you must develop what you call the character of power. And how do you develop the character of power is that after you have been able to put together your philosophy of complex adaptive, your borderlessness, you now have a product, you have a service, okay, that you want to render to the world. What next? You now need visibility, okay? You now need visibility. Visibility, you already have a platform, which is the internet, okay? So you can come online with that, begin to talk about it from your location, okay? You can see what is happening today. The Ikorodu boys, you know, mimic a Netflix movie, a Netflix thriller, and all the way from the United States of America, they have invited them to the US now for, you know, a big engagement and endorsement. These are little children from Ikorodu, okay? If you look at the world now, you look at all the kind of challenges that's going on all over the world, okay? You can set forth, okay, and begin to attract those cosmic energy, because the internet is the hallmark, is the hub of creative energy. So whatever you know you can do well, it could be a skill you learned from your grandmother, it could be a skill you learned from school, from your grandfather, from anybody, or a product from anybody, from your whoever, you understand? But you know within yourself that it has not earned you the required benefits, that the potency of that product, the relevance of it need to reach the world. And if it must reach the world, you need to give it visibility. And how do you give it visibility? It's to leverage on borderlessness. You don't need a visa, okay, to take it to the United States anymore. You don't need to go through interview and get rejected and all that anymore. So this on Instagram, go on Facebook. All you need to do is to go on social media, the Instagram, Facebook platform, okay, Twitter, and begin to look at how you can give it visibility. Begin to sponsor it online. When you sponsor it, it will ask you of the location you want this thing to be seen, and then you get it out there. Okay, as you are doing that, you are attracting other creative forces, other cosmic signal to that product, to that service. And very soon, as you keep doing that and you do it well, okay, make sure you have product knowledge before you get on the internet. Make sure you have service knowledge. You have the adequate knowledge of that service you are rendering, or you have the adequate knowledge of that product you want the world to see, okay, before you get online. Once you get online, I can assure you that there is a place in this world that that particular thing is required. There's a place where it's going to meet a need, okay? And that place, it will remain fallow until that product, that service, you know, is packaged and delivered to that particular location. It is important we know this. Post-COVID-19 is the era of speed. The world has just restarted. We must master the edges. We must understand how to operate within this season, okay? We must develop that. So now when you get to that level where it is now attracting global relevance, it's now attracting global strength, now is the time for you to build what you call structure. What you call structure. Now you have to build a structure, okay? Building a structure is complex, but you must do it to present yourself organized, okay, before your contacts. Now people want to contact you from all over the world. You have to set up a system, okay? A customer service delivery system, okay? That will be proficient and efficient, okay? Because now you are no longer struggling. You are now recognized. Your product is now recognized. Your service is now recognized. It's now required all over the world. And you cannot do it alone. So now is the point where you have to take on a structure. And remember, while you are putting up that structure, remember that the principle that brought you up there are still relevant at that level. So you will need two things. If you look at Ecclesiastes 8, I picked this from that. You will need character and you will need competence. These two things are very important, character and competence. Now, character will define and give you loyal customers. Loyalty, is built over time. Trust is built over time. And one of the ways to build trust is character, okay? When you have the right character, you have the right conduct, you have the right approach, okay? You have a kind-hearted strategy for dealing with your customer. That will give you a very clear purpose, okay, for which people want to be loyal to your brand. Now, people are loyal to brand these days, not because of commodity, but because of prejudice. People are loyal to your brand today, not necessarily because of its quality, but because of the experience they have around it, okay? Have you heard people say, I wanted to buy from her, but I won't buy from her because of the last time she did this. Or I would have paid for this, but let me go to the other side and pay for it. The same thing, the same quality, the same size, the same item. But you see that somebody just preferred to buy from someone. Why? Because of the experience, because of the psychology, because of the prejudice. Okay, so you must know that why they begin to patronize you. People patronize you on the scale of prejudice, on the scale of the experience you have built around your product and services, and not necessarily on its potency or capacity. And what will do that for you is character. The character you have built around that product, the character you have built around that service, the way you have gone about the approach, your response, the way you look at things, the way you are able to reach out to your customers, the way you're able to reach out to them at their birthdays, at their anniversaries, their wedding anniversaries, and all sorts. Okay, the banks do it a lot. They send you messages during the festive period. They send you messages during your birthday, your anniversary, your wedding anniversary, your celebration, your child's naming ceremony, child dedication, all that. They keep sending you messages. You know, these are strategies. These are strategies to build character so that you become loyal to them, okay? Because people want to know how you care, okay? It is said that people don't care. There's a way they say it. They don't care what you know until they know how you care. Yes. So that is exactly what this is all about. It's about building capacity, building character around it. So having built character, then you have to build competence. You have to build competence, okay? If you are going to be on a particular skill, if you are going to be on a particular level on that product, on that service, you must develop capacity, okay? If you let's say, for example, you are into a business, okay, that delivers pharmaceutical products in this season, okay? You must be at your best in reading on delivery, business, and all the strategy around you. You must read books. You must study to develop capacity. Capacity is developed by an expansion of your horizon, your mind, through reading, through studying, through observation, through experiment, through all kinds of empirical research, and through deep thinking of the options available for you to make things faster, to make it better, and to make it more useful to the end users or the middlemen that interface between you and the end users. Okay? It's important you know this. But the crux of all this is that if there's no capacity, you cannot rely 100% on character, because capacity and character are interwoven. You see, where one is lacking, the other foot in, okay? So it is important that you develop capacity. by, studying people who have done that business before. But don't study them to succeed like them. Because that's one of the mistakes we make. When we look at people, we want to study them so that we can, at the end of the day, get to know how they did it and then succeed the way they succeeded. No. In every training and every certification I have gotten, I have always gone there not to just learn what they have to tell me, but I go there to beat what they are doing. I go there to see what they are doing, learn what they are doing, and beat it. Okay? So that is how to get fast in this track. So when I consult for organizations, when I consult for businesses, when I consult all over, one of the things I'm able to bring to bear is that there is an organic strategy that comes from me and me alone. Okay? And this will not just drop on you. It will come as a result of careful study. It will come as a result of careful observation of your space. But nothing beats competence and nothing beats character. You can have all the strategy in the world. You can have everything in the world. You can have all the knowledge, all the philosophies, all the way to go through. But you need people who have to have contact with you. They need to interface with you. They need to have, exchange with you. So if during this contact exchange with you, they are left in utter distress, their hands are burnt, or they are not satisfied, they will develop apathy for that brand. And once they develop apathy for your brand, they develop contempt about your character, then you are already getting out of business. You are no longer in business, really. So you see how relevant these things are. They are not seen. Competence is not seen. Character is not seen. They are invisible. But they are powerful. They are so powerful that if you don't apply them to your business or the services you render, if you don't apply them to the things you do, it will take you, it will take you almost everything you have built. It will take away everything you have built over the years. So why I remind you of the principle of complex adaptive, which is creative sojourn, okay, into terrains already tread by individuals, okay, by around having, all those requisite information and knowledge, okay. I should also let you know that character and competence is important. It's very, very important. You need to know that in the workings of creativity, your imagination is highly required. Your imagination is highly required, okay? So when you look at the ecosystem, you look at the sun emits energy, okay? Photosynthesis, other things, there are a lot of energy, not just photosynthesis, invisible energy that the sun emits. Inspiration is emitted from there. So the ecosystem is powered by the sun. And then the imagination connects, okay, to the cosmic administration of the universe. Then you begin to brood on thoughts and different kind of capacity will now be coming, okay? And as they are coming to you, you must know how to particularize them, okay? Because one of the problems that happened to the earliest set of persons that were created was when God told them to, God has already said, subdue the earth, have dominion, have everything, grow and all that. So they came together and said they would build a tower up to heavens. God wanted them to have a horizontal spread of the earth, a horizontal sojourn, a global arrangement, a cosmic, complex, adaptive a dominion of the earth, okay? A borderless arrangement, an evolution of new culture. Dominion means evolve into new cultures and develop capacity. But these people, instead of them to spread horizontally, they created a vertical philosophy that they want to go and see God up there. So what happened? God has to change their language. Okay? He changed their language because they were running against the horizontal dominion capacity. They need to spread through the air. They started spreading through the space. It was not yet time for God to release the astronomical age. Then was just the classical era, the era of beginnings, the era where you need to subdue the earth in a large way before you begin to talk about space, imaginative. So you see, God struck them with changing their language and they scattered around the earth. It was because of that change of language that they could no longer understand each other, that they ran to different places. And in doing that, with that philosophy, God spread everybody across the earth. Okay? And when the people are fully spread around the earth, you know, before Jesus left, God now unified the language again. When he told them that they should remain there, if you look at Acts 1:8, you know, it said that the Holy Spirit will come upon you and you will begin to speak in other tongues as the Holy Ghost will give you utterance. So speaking in tongues now, when we're speaking in tongues, we come to the unity of one language. That thing that happened in Genesis 11 is unified in the book of Acts. Okay? Wow. You know how many years it took from Genesis to the book of Acts? From Genesis to Acts took a lot of years. And between that time, the language of man was scattered. The technology of communication was scattered. Man's mental and linguistic sojourn and philosophy was scattered. Okay? So that is why when he called us back into Acts, he now, okay, that immediately the Holy Spirit comes upon you. You begin to speak in other tongues. So that day, God launched a uniformity of the language because now he trusts that man will not begin to go vertical, that a man will begin to look at his horizontal solution to dominate in business, to dominate the sea, to dominate the waves, and then to make technology commonplace in the world. So that in itself was that particular revolution that compartmentalized first and then unified the thought of man into one entity. Now, man is going to space and God allows it because the purpose for which earth was meant to be subdued is now achieved. If it were in those early days, God would not allow people, the Americans, to go to Mars, to go to other planets, to subdue them when the earth have not been fully subdued. Because the mandate was that be fruitful, have dominion, you know, subdue the earth, and, you know, make it productive. Now, because man has not made it productive, through inventions, through technology, through complex adaptive, through all the principles, okay, that God have used to subdue it, okay, now, through the cosmic operation of the universe, God have been able to also send that inspiration for development and technology of this age, that we now have borderless world, that we now have a world where in Nigeria we can develop capacity to go to space, to go to the moon, to develop, the galaxy, okay, to build laws around the galaxy and all that. So it tells you that the system of development, the systems and the workings of time is very critical in this day and age. And that is why, if you look at all political ideology, governance, philosophy, all the trends of human sojourn have been so advanced, that it is now time to spread into other locations of the world, into other planets, into other space, so the crux of my expression is that we must develop relevance and capacity okay, wherever we are, whatever location we are, we must go global from there. Because if you remain in your local enclave and your tribe, okay, there is not much your tribe can deliver to you in this new world order. This new world order that is borderlessness. That is borderless. Okay, why can't we take advantage of the process of time? Why can't we develop what you call the curriculum of power? Okay, and as stakeholders in this world, look at the behavior of governance, okay, and then look at the intelligence of man, political ideology, economic philosophy, the condition of the world, the status of the earth, okay, and find just one product or find just one service. If it is consulting like as I'm doing here, okay, if it is consulting you can begin to study it, okay? Every bank you see in Nigeria have nothing less than 27 consultants. Every branch of bank you have nothing less than 27 consultants, okay? These banks are paying for wisdom and they are paying heavy for knowledge, okay? Okay, so that they know that it is important that their products and their services are structured in a way that it will deliver maximum satisfaction to their customers. So all over the world, so if it is consulting, whether management consulting, whether business consulting, political, media, whatever kind of consultancy you can do, all you need in consulting is a brain and a mind. That's all you need. And maybe some certification. Okay, maybe some certification. So it can be that. It can be outright agro products. Okay, it can be outright agro product, but build the right experience around it. Okay, photograph your options. Photograph your options. It is important. If it's a book you have to write to solve a problem, okay, Nigeria is one of the best places you can stay to write a book to solve problems, because we're into deep shit, okay? So because we're into this, you can sit down and solve the world problem from Nigeria by writing a book. It's easy today to give the book visibility because you can put it on Amazon, okay? You can put it on all the platforms that you can write.
Oh, sorry about that. Ladies and gentlemen, Evans Ufeli has been awesome in today's edition of My Jesus Christ Expression 1.10, My Jesus Christ Story. He has been talking about the evolution and the borderlessness of complex adaptive. He has been talking about some of the key things I shared earlier on the beauty of the beauty of clean concept. And what is clean concept? The ability and the capacity to actually live from inward to outward in order for you to become an asset to your world. It is you paying attention to that special you in order for you to become the real reason for living. Clean concept is about following those little things that we never thought they are of great importance, but they are resident in us. The beauty of the clean concept is this. The beauty of clean sweep is that all the beautiful things we are talking about, they are actually in us. They are in us from birth. And it is beauty of, oh, ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Evans is back. So, okay.
Hello.
Hello, we can hear you.
Yes. I don't know how much time I have and whether they have questions. I really don't know, and I don't know what the impact level is. Can they hear me? Can they hear me?
Yes.
Do they have questions and all that? Just let me know what I should do now.
Okay. Thank you so much for this beautiful analogy and for your time. Actually, your time is fast spent. We spent 10 minutes above what we are. But one of the key questions that somebody sent to me now on Facebook in the person of Wilder John. Wilder John was talking about the biodegradable technology. Sorry, I need to exit the video on pin. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Thank you very much. What's going on? Okay, thank you. While John was talking about biodegradable technology, so he's talking about and in the evolution of time, that things are changing and it is changing at accelerated rates. We are in the age of shame, fashion, media. So he really wants to know what are the characters and the moral aspect you were talking about when we are definitely in the age of shames, and how you definitely leverage on this to actualize your real purpose on earth. Those are his words. Let's go there.
The character word of what?
You're talking about the character that you must build a character. And the guy was like, so since we are in age of no shame, we are in age of no shame. People come online, do ask anything you want to talk about. So, and they are making good money from such things. So, and you were talking about character. Do you understand? So, Whether was telling us, so at what point do we need to exhibit this kind of level in order for us to actually become the
Okay. I understand him. I understand him proper. You know, Tayo, you have answered the question at the beginning when you post those pictures where the clergyman was casting out demon from a goat, the white man selling plantain, and then an AC in the thatch house, right?
Yeah.
Right? I think you saw that. Yeah, you saw that. I was talking about character in relation to product and services, okay? I was talking about character in relation to product and services, because even those people that he regard or he referred to as the age of no shame, that are on the social media doing different kind of things you can regard in those days as madness or immoral, okay? Even those people, okay, they project themselves to find followers, okay? Those activities are actually targeted at finding followers, and then they make money off it at the long run, because even in the media generally, good news is no news, okay? You come out, you deck up maybe as a celebrity, you wear your suit, your shirt, your jacket, and everywhere, and take a picture. You have maybe just few likes and few comments, okay? But if they see that a celebrity, or they see a headline that says celebrity goes mad or found naked somewhere, you see the followership will be heavy, because people want to gossip, okay? People want to gossip. People want negative. People want to feast on negative things. And because they want to gossip, some people leverage on that gossip to make money. Because everything you do in this world, really, there's a business side of it. The person who is doing it may not even be seeing the business in it. It might be another person that will be seeing the business. And sometimes the people who make more money are people who take that video, not even the people who own the kit. are the people who will take that video and take it to a platform where the stuff will be highly welcome. And they take it and put there and begin to make money. So I know it's the era of no shame, it's the era of madness. Okay? It's also complex adaptive, because when you are talking business, when you are talking real capitalist philosophy, you don't talk morals. Not as if morals is not important. Morals is important. Okay? But at that level and at that scale of capitalist arrangement, it is not moral that is put forward, it is satisfaction. Okay, it is satisfaction. It's about product delivery. It's about product satisfaction. Okay, so, and if a lot of people wants to see negative things, wants to see madness, want to see the leftist side of humanity, it is natural, because they have been so used with the upright side that they need something extra. So that extra generates traffic. And when you generate traffic, you find that Google will take adverts to those sites, so that before you even see the madness, you will see a bank advert. You will see, advert of a company there. And the more you click, the more somebody's making money. Okay? The more views you have, the more money you have. Okay? So why should I go and post something that is so normal that will not generate traffic? And then I have 3 clicks or 5 clicks. And that 5 clicks will not amount to anything. Okay? So if I do a skit, okay, that is so, creative, that is so out of place, but at the same time is passing a message, and at the same time is, because all this madness you see in one way or the other, they have a rebate. They have a rebate in a way of also correcting either a social ill or something in society that should be the other way around and not the way it is. So there's always something that is transmitted. You understand? And I understand the person who asked that question, because while I was talking about character and competence, it's just around a product and a service, because I actually centered my piece on variables, verifiable products and services. But here, where it has to do with showing off a kit on internet, a product and a service, it has its own peculiarity. So he should understand that it is not, the social media have its own language. If you are doing kits on social media, you are doing comedy, or you are just doing one thing or the other. Comedy is very common. People are doing short videos to teach morals. People are also doing short videos to discourage people from taking hard drugs. People are doing short videos to promote business, to promote writing, okay, to promote all kinds of things. The strategy they go with is the strategy that will best give them visibility. And that's exactly what they are doing. So if it will give you visibility, and if the strategy is okay, and it commands the audience, there's nothing wrong in using the strategy to deliver, okay? So I think that answers the question, if it does.
Thank you so much, Barrister Evans Ufeli. Our time is past spent. In fact, we should shoot 15 minutes ahead of what we've actually planned for, but we're going to put it at the stop at this point. I want to thank you for this awesome training you just delivered. It's all over. It's all over. It's on Facebook now, and I have some questions rolling in. I will have to send some of these questions to you, so that we're going to have a special day where we're going to have question and answer session only on this particular topic. Thank you so much, Barrister Evans Ufeli. And ladies and gentlemen, we've come to the end of Expression 1.10 today's edition. We've been speaking with erudite personality all the way from Lagos, Nigeria. We're talking about Barrister Evans Ufeli. And he has been taking us on the awesome topic, the borderlessness of complex, just a minute.
Evolution of culture.
The evolution the evolution of culture, borderlessness, and complex adaptive. And here, one of the key things for us in today's edition is when he said we need to go global, and not just going global, that we need to think outside the box. And not just think outside, because we need to learn from the sun, we need to learn from the ear, we need to learn from the sound, we need to learn from the moon, how they are global and how they are relevant every second, every minute, every hour, and every single day. And how they are not getting weary or getting weak, whether what anybody does, no matter what anybody say, but these guys are actually doing something great. Another take-up point for us is technocracy, where he talked about how technology is going to influence politics in a few years' time. Even from now, already it's been done in some Western world presently. So we believe a lot of things is actually coming in, a lot of things is actually happening, and we believe we're going to have another session with Barrister in a few days or in months or in hours. Thank you, Barrister Evans, for your time. Thank you so much for doing this. We love you. God bless you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah.